The only way to be cool in grade 6 was to play Call of Duty Zombies, a game that I had never heard of, but was about to become a very big part of my life. So after begging my parents because I wasn't allowed to play 15 plus games yet, I managed to get my hands on the first Black Ops. And naturally, I started grinding the shit out of it. I used to clock into Kino Der Toten every day after school like it was my goddamn job. But no matter how hard I tried, I just wasn't very good. While my other friends were getting around 30s like they were nothing, I was barely able to make it even into the 20s. What I will say is nice though is realizing something important. None of us were ever really that good. Getting up to those high rounds used to take us all night. If you were trying to get past round 20, you'd be locked in for at least 45 minutes, which is absolutely terrible compared to the fastest round 30 times on speedrun.com. Like, I get that the people that are on this website are some of the best that have ever played the game before, but even on like difficult maps like Verrükt, look at this round 30 time. Like, it's so much faster than anything we were able to do back in the day. I kind of want to see how fast it is on PS3, considering that that's what I used to play it on, and I guess no one's done it before. Alright, but what about the 360? Surely there's a record for that. I mean, I guess no one is good enough to get round 30 in Verrükt then, which is so weird, because without any other run there, all you'd have to do is just to play the game like normal, and you'd get a world record. You'd be the best at that map on that console in the whole world. You could prove to everyone how good you are. I could prove to everyone how good I am going to become the best Call of Duty Zombies player in the entire in the world, the whole world. So it turns out that there's actually more console world records than just the Verrükt one that's up for grabs, so we're going to be doing a lot more of those. There's 10 maps across Black Ops Zombies, and one shitty game mode for babies, baby cringe baby mode that sucks, that is bad, not because it's difficult, because it sucks and it's bad. So to start collecting our world records, we're going to go all the way back to where zombies started in Call of Duty. So I sat down with my PS3 and booted up the map that started it all. Nacht Der Untoten. Now look, I realized as I set up the camera to record that I can't really draw, but I'm gonna do my best to explain all of this to you. Now because Nacht Der Untoten was the very first Call of Duty Zombies map, it is extremely bare bones. Really all you have is 3 areas that you can go to. You spawn in this room, which is just spawn. You have the mystery box room up here, and then you also have upstairs. So you know, you get your little arrows. Look, it's easier than writing. If I wrote this, it's gonna be terrible. We're just running with this, stick with me. So you might be wondering why this room is called the mystery box room, and that's because the mystery box is in it. The mystery box is something that you can pay 950 points to, and what it'll do is it'll cycle through all of these guns, it'll play like a nice little tune for you, and you're basically just wanting to get something good. On Nacht Der Untoten, 2 of the best guns that you can get are the ray gun and the thunder gun. So you know, you might get something really good like that, or you might get a pistol. Think about it like gambling. So how do you get the points for the mystery box? I mean, it's called zombies. You get it from killing zombies. You get 10 points for just doing damage to them, and then whenever you kill them, you get anywhere between 130 to 50 points depending on how you kill them. You can also get points by rebuilding these barriers. They're just like planks of wood that kind of go up. And the last thing about this map really is this green icon here. For the last DLC of Black Ops, they added this perk called Mule Kick, and they retroactively added it to all of the maps. Nacht Der Untoten is a map that has 0 perks except now for Mule Kick, which when you buy it for 4,000 points, it lets you hold 3 guns rather than 2. And all of that is to say, we spawn in on round 1. Now there are 3 world records that we're going for here. We're going for the song, round 5, and round 15. What is the song, you might ask? On every single zombies map, there is a hidden song somewhere that you have to do steps to varying degrees for. In this case, all you have to do is shoot a radio that is positioned right about here. So that's 1 down, 2 more to go. Surviving to round 5 and 15 isn't usually a big achievement, which you might have got from my preamble at the start of this, but on Nacht Der Untoten it's really difficult. And the reason being, on all of those other maps you have so many perks that can help you out. On here it's bare bones, and the reason that makes it more difficult is because on this map, if you get hit twice by a zombie, you're dead, game over, that's it. That also includes any explosive damage you've taken, and even if you shoot a ray gun too close to yourself, you can get some splashback and take damage that way. It's very difficult to stay alive, especially on a map that is this close quarters. So what you'll see a lot of speedrunners do is they'll go to this mystery box room and they'll just kind of like run in circles here, grouping up all the zombies. Yes, I'm going to be calling it grouping in this video because it is just insane what we used to call it back in the days with Syndicate. Another victim of the woke left. So yeah, I tried doing this mystery box room for a long time. It just didn't work for me because I don't know, look, I'm not that good. I'm not that good at the game. So what I ended up doing instead was that I would get through the mystery box room, go up the stairs here, and instead I just sit in this room, because all you really have to worry about in this room is that there's one barriers that the zombies can come in, but outside of that, all of them just come through this main doorway here. I mean, mainly half of the time I'd just be trying to get like an LMG, so like an RPK or a HK-21, ideally a ray gun as well, so that you can just sit there and spray at them. Something else that was really helpful on this map as well is the power-ups that you can get, which occasionally drop whenever you kill a zombie. The ones that are super helpful on this map are Carpenter, which is a hammer, and that will just rebuild all the barriers. Insta-kill, which just means like one hit, one kill on the zombies. And Nuke, which just bombs all of the zombies. But eventually, after a lot of trial and error, I ended up getting to round 15, and I can never, ever think about Nacht Der Untoten again. Which now means we move over to the second map, Verrükt. These maps are not going to get any easier to draw either. This is not... Look, it's understandable enough, right? You get what I mean. You fucking understand. Now, the major difference on Verrükt compared to Nacht Der Untoten is that they added in, as you'll see from the little magnets, 4 additional perks. The first one, which is just undisputably, if you're playing casually, this is the perk that you constantly need on solo, Quick Revive. Quick Revive is a perk that will, when you get downed by a zombie, instead of being killed immediately, you will instead be revived after a few seconds and you'll be able to get back up and continue playing. What that essentially does is that instead of on something like Nacht Der Untoten, where you get 1 life and that's it, you're actually able to buy Quick Revive 3 times, which will then allow you to have 4 lives in it. The only downside with Quick Revive is that when you go down with it, you do lose all the other perks that you have bought, which kind of sucks, but I mean also like, you get to keep going, you know? The second perk that was added was Juggernog, which is the best perk that you can get. Hands down, there is no perk that is better than Juggernog. What Juggernog does is it increases your health, so instead of dying from 2 zombie hits, you now die from 5 instead. Look, I know both of these are green. I can't actually tell if you can see the letters. Can you see the letters? See that? There's letters on them. There's an S and an M. I promise. Another perk that they added is Speed Cola, which allows you to reload your gun faster. And the very last perk that got added was Double Tap, which allows you to shoot faster. There is one change with how the perks work on this map compared to how it did with Nacht. On Nacht Der Untoten, you walked up to Mule Kick and you could just buy it straight away. You can do that with Quick Revive on solo. It costs $500 and you can get it immediately. But if you want any of the other perks like Jug, Speed Cola, Double Tap, you have to go into this room here, the power room, and turn on the power. But I mean, all you have to do is make your way to the power room and it's already pre-built and everything like that, so you just gotta flip on the switch and off you go. You can buy all these perks. The power mechanic of having to turn it on to be able to do anything is something that I think is carried over onto almost every single map besides maybe a handful. The other change with this map as well is that there are now multiple mystery box locations. The mystery box will always first spawn in the power room, but after that, you can hit the box so many times that a teddy bear will appear, you'll get a refund from the box, and it will then move location. Now on this map, we're again going for the same 3 world records, the song, round 5, and round 15. To get the song on this map, you have to go into this room here, past the double tap, and it's like, I don't know, I think it's called like showers or something. And there's just toilets, and you have to flush a toilet like 3 or 4 times. It says to do it 3 times. You just spam the thing. You spam the toilet until the song starts playing. So that's what you do. And that's easy enough. We get that one done. Getting to round 15 on Verrükt is so much easier solely because of 2 perks, Quick Revive and Juggernog. Those are the 2 major things that just make being able to get to any higher round on any map so much easier. And it's literally proven in the strategy that most people use for this map, which is just walking around. The major one that I saw was that you kind of start here at the start of the round, and then I think you go downstairs and walk around through this way, and you just kind of loop the entire map. You don't run, you literally just walk. Which for a game mode that can be as chaotic as zombies will get in like further maps and everything like that, what it ends up evolving to, it seems way too easy to just get away with doing that, but you do. And that doesn't mean that I was able to make it to round 30 or anything like that. You might have noticed I'm not going for that record on this one. But for what this is like very straightforward and very easy to do. They did add into this as well traps, so like they've got them, they're called the zappers, which are basically just like little nodes at the top of doorways, and you can flip a switch and it'll just shoot all the electricity down. They have them here and here. They also have it, I didn't draw it, but they have it here as as well. But the reason that I didn't use the traps, and I think that a lot of people don't use the traps, is because when the traps run out, you're just gonna be surrounded by zombies. You can't like leave this area. There's only 2 exits and they're both completely filled. So walking is somehow the only thing that you need to do to be able to win at this map. But after Verrükt, instead of just going to the next map that was released, I decided to do a record for a map that came much after it. And that map is called 5. Now real shit, it's either Nacht Der Untoten or 5 that are up there as my least favorite maps. I cannot stand 5. This is all very confusing, by the way. I probably should have numbered like which room is which. So 5 takes place in the Pentagon. You know, you got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. It's the Pentagon. 5. So on the map, you have 3 different areas that you can go to. So you got your spawn area. In spawn, you have your quick revive, which you can get to immediately. Oh, actually, look, there's probably gonna be a little bit of some inaccuracies on this because, like, especially, don't even talk to me about that room. So your starting room is here. I think they call it like the command room or the officers, whatever. You got quick revive in here. Once you get through that door, you've got speed cola there. And then up here is actually a lift, which will take you down to level 2. You come out here, right next to double tap. It gets a little bit skew-if on this map because of the space that I have and how it's all laid out. Basically, there's this railing that you have around here on this map, and you buy this door, which will then lead you to the bottom part of this second area where you're able to buy jug and mule kick. From there, there's a second elevator that you buy through this door, which will take you down to the 3rd level. This is the labs. Once you get through here, you come out of the lift, then you go into the power room. Now, once you turn on the power in this map, obviously all the perks come back again. That's just default from now on. But you also get with this map these teleporters, which are these little red icons that I have. You can get tossed up basically anywhere. The only place that you won't teleport to at random is this room here, which we'll get to in a second. But you can just teleport anywhere. You can teleport back to spawn, which means you're gonna have to use the lift again. You can teleport back into the second area, which is fine. Or, as what happens a lot of the time when you play the map, you end up going into here to leave, and you end up just like running down there, getting into that teleporter, you come out that way, and you just get stuck in this maze trap, right? So the question is, why don't you randomly get teleported into that room? And the reason is that there is something on this map that is being introduced to the video for the first time, but has been in, I think, 3 other maps before this, and that's this green thing here, the Pack-a-Punch machine. Now, the Pack-a-Punch machine costs $5,000, but what you're able to do is you're able to put your guns into the machine. Usually, they'll come out with more ammo, they'll deal more damage, and some of them will even have attachments. If you notice in the Verrükt segment, when I went down, I was shooting these 2 guns that were basically blowing out grenades. What those are the starting pistol that's gone through the Pack-a-Punch machine, now called Mustang and Sally. And yeah, they just shoot grenades from the guns. It's sick. To get to the Pack-a-Punch machine on most of the maps, there are a few steps to be able to get there. On this map, what you need to do is you need to raise the DEFCON to DEFCON 5. 4 of them are up here, and then there's one on either side there where you just go up to the green light, you flick it, and then you're able to get into the Pack-a-Punch. The only other thing with Pack-a-Punch on this map is that you're able to Pack-a-Punch for 1,000 points if you get a certain power-up. This power-up comes from the first boss zombie of this video, which is called the Pentagon Thief, the Scientist, whatever you want to call him, one of those names. In the release order for the last couple of maps, they've had designated rounds where certain enemies start spawning. So every 5 to 6 rounds on 5, you have the Pentagon Thief spawn, and basically what he does is that he'll run up to you, and whichever gun that you're holding when he gets up to you, he takes that off of you. The only way to get that gun back is by killing him. If you don't kill him in time, then you lose the gun. And on this map as well, there is also one more zombie that we haven't seen in this video yet, which is a Nova Crawler. They're basically these little fucked up demon things that just crawl around on all 4s. They don't have eyes, they've just got this big mouth. It's really disgusting actually when you look at it and think about it. And when they are killed, they will kind of fall over and then they'll explode with this gas, which like can do some damage to you. But that basically covers everything on this map. Now, what we're going for on this map is the song, Pack-a-Punch, round 5, and round 15. We're doing 4 records on 5. To get the song, what you need to do is you need to go to the first red phone, which is next to the quick revive over here. The second phone, which is in the power room here. And then the last red phone is in the Pack-a-Punch room. And then an Eminem song will start playing because it's 2010. So the steps to do a Pack-a-Punch run are extremely similar to the song. There's nothing too spectacularly difficult about that or anything. It's pretty standard, it's fine. And then again, all that is left is getting to round 5 and 15. And the problem is that this map sucks because something I didn't draw here, because this looks like a very nice and open kind of space to have a good run around, right? No, this has these like boardroom things running through the middle of it. But it means that it's very difficult to be able to stay in this area where there's only that as open space. I guess you kind of got these alleys that you could sort of run, but then the problem is that you go through a teleporter. If you go through a teleporter and end up there, you're just gonna get stuck. It's not, look, it's a lot of tight spaces on this map. So basically the only way that I was able to make it to round 15, which again is, you know, it's not great, whatever, was basically just running around in a circle here. That's all I could do. All I could do on this map was just run in a circle in this second area, and when it got too much, I could hop in the teleporter and get out. That's basically it. Not a great strategy, overwhelming a lot of the time, but you know, it got me to 15 and that's all that matters. Now I've been setting a lot of PS3 records, but just in case you forgot, there was also records on the 360 that were available. So it's time to pull out the Xbox 360 from God knows where and start setting some more world records, starting with Riese. I actually can't find my 360 because it's usually on the bookshelf behind me. Hold on, no, yep, there it is, yeah. These things just get too damn hot nowadays, you just gotta let it cool down a little bit. She's good to go. The first map that we'll be doing on the 360 is Riese, and I honestly think that Riese is the first zombies map that just felt like a fully realized mode. Everything that became so integral to this game mode was really pieced all together here for the very first time. You have perks, you have power, you have pack-a-punch, you have the boss rounds that are included in there, and also Riese was one of, if not the very first map to have a lot more in-your-face storytelling. You could sense that there was something bigger in this, and a lot of that has to do with radios that are hidden around the map. We're not going to be getting into the lore of COD Zombies or anything that it introduces here because, look, we're going for world records. We're trying to be the best player that we can be, and, you know, the lore is good to have on in the background while you're doing that, but it's not really going to help us be the best player that we can. On top of doing the same 4 runs that I had just done before for 5, we're also going to be doing an extra 2. One being the round 30. I'm finally confident enough to be able to do it on this map, but also doing a run that is entwined with the lore that's being added here as well is the Easter egg. We'll get back to that in just a minute. Firstly, to do a run of the song, it's pretty straightforward, and it also helps that 2 of the pieces are in the same place. The first one is a room next to one of these teleporters here, which again we'll get back to, and then the other 2 are right next to each other near this staircase down here, right across from the other teleporter. Once you hit the 3 of those, it's just this big tube with like green goo and like what looks like a spine. The song starts playing, and that's it there. Then you've got the pack-a-punch. Now the pack-a-punch, there are a couple of steps to be able to do. Basically, as you can see from these 3 here, those are the, look, it's my interpretation of what the teleporters look like, alright? Basically, those are the 3 that you will need to link to this pad at the very start. You will need to go to it, interact with it, and then a 30-second timer starts. And you need to make it back to the teleporter by then to link all of these together. And once you link all 3, a door will drop and you'll be able to access the pack-a-punch machine. Now, once you have a pack-a-punch weapon, you are able to start the solo Easter egg. What you need to do is you need to come to this area just before you get into the door to get to this teleporter, and you need to just shoot off behind a barrier to this. There is an actual name for it, and there is a little bit of lore to it. I think it's like supposed to resemble some kind of like anti-gravity system that they were working on. But once you shoot that, all these power-ups will start circling and fly up to the sky, and you will hear a little girl's voice say that she wants to play a game with you of hide and seek. So what you're gonna do is you're just going to head into this room here, just this little section between the teleporter and where you find the song. There'll just be a little pet cage there. Inside of it will be a teddy bear. You shoot the teddy bear and that's one. You'll then head back into where you spawn and then look up, and at the big buildings there, I'll be honest, I have never actually been able to see the teddy bear there, but you just kind of spray at the opening and eventually you'll hear that you've hit it. And then after that, what you do is you run through into this room where Mule Kick is, and there's a furnace in there with a monkey bomb, and you shoot that, and that's the end of that Easter egg. And Samantha, who's the little girl, will tell you that the game's over now. But once finishing those 3 runs, we're now onto the, I mean, you know, the easier part. At least on this map, it is easier. Getting to round 5, 15, and 30. Honestly, I think that by the time that I've done the Easter egg, it's usually around round 15 or just below that anyway. There's 2 strategies that you usually see people using. You'll either see them sitting up on the catwalk here towards this teleporter at the back where there's a mystery box spawn. Another strategy that a lot of people use, and the strategy that I used, was this more open area here where the power is. This is a game mode where movement is so important, and we finally have an area where we can do some movement. To be honest with you, before trying to do these runs, I hadn't played a whole lot of Der Riese solos, so I wasn't very familiar. Like, I got the basic concepts from playing the other maps that, you know, you run in this general area and that's what you do. But there's actually something that's really handy here, which is a trap that we previously saw in Verrükt, but in this case, it's a lot easier to manage. Basically, halfway through this area, there's the electric trap. What I found was a really good strategy was to use that monkey bomb, which is something that when you throw it, the zombies all chase after, and to throw it through the trap once I've got a big horde, because then they're all going to run through it, they're all going to die there, and once the bomb explodes, all of the other zombies are going to run through, and it's just basically double kill, right? So it was a mixture of that, and then also being able to group all of the zombies in this area, and, you know, do a little bit of dodge and weaving up around here. You'll see what I mean. This is one of the few maps where I feel like I didn't watch a lot of people play it before, and I managed to find a way that worked for me and worked pretty well for me, so I'm pretty happy with that. On 5, we had the scientists, but on this map, we have the dogs. What they'll do is they'll spawn again every like 5 to 6 rounds. Once you kill them all, you get a max ammo at the end, which is just another power-up that drops. The dogs do, I believe it's after round 20, they start spawning with the regular zombies, but you do still get dedicated dog rounds, which means that you get dedicated max ammo rounds as well. The next map to come up on the 360 was another one that I had never really played much solo, but did end up becoming one of my favorites later on. Ascension. I know I keep commenting on how it all looks, but I've just given up and now we're just doing bird's eye views because there is so much packed into specifically this middle of the map. It's too much. It's too much. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You've basically learned all of the core mechanics of this game. There's only very few changes with Ascension compared to what we saw with Der Riese. Ascension still has the dedicated like special zombie rounds, but in this one instead, it's monkeys that drop out of like little like ships that drop from the sky and they just like crawl out and they're all in little asteroid suits. It's kind of cute. They're really fucking annoying though, because what they'll do is they'll go for the perk machine for whichever perk that you've bought, and if you don't kill them and get them off the machine in time, they will take that perk away, which means you have to buy it again. Which for Jug is fine. For something like Quick Revive, where you can only buy it a limited amount of times, kind of shit, kind of really annoying. But also if you manage to kill them before they touch the machine, they'll drop a perk power up, which gives you just a random free perk. What I haven't mentioned before is that you can only buy 4 perks at a time. That's why, you know, when we're looking at something like Der Riese, I'm not able to buy Mule Kick directly after. But the perk power up from killing the monkeys does change things. If you have 4 of your perks, you can't buy any additional, but if you kill all the monkeys and there's a perk power up that drops, you're able to then get an additional one added on top, meaning that you can have all 6 perks on this map. Speaking of perks, there are a couple of changes to all of the perks that we've seen so far. On this map, there is no double tap, and there are a couple of new perks that are listed here. The first one at the top here is PhD Flopper. Before doing runs, I never bought this because I didn't realize what it did. The only thing I had ever really like pieced together what PhD Flopper did, you dolphin dive and there'd just be like an explosion around you and you wouldn't take any fall damage, right? What PhD Flopper also does is it stops any explosive damage dealt to you. You know how earlier I was saying there was a problem with using the ray gun because of the splash damage? Not anymore, which means that the ray gun is just so good to use on this because you could just shoot it at your feet when you're stuck in a corner, which I do all of the time, and you get out of it basically. The other perk of PhD Flopper, get it, perk? We like that funny. We like that funny. The other weapon that you're now able to use a lot more effectively with PhD Flopper is Mustang and Sally, because they shoot out grenades, which you can now just shoot at the ground because you don't take any damage from that. So really, instead of just being able to get the ray gun and the thunder gun from this map, which are, you know, the 2 best wonder weapons, you're also guaranteed to be able to get the Mustang and Sally if you just put in the effort to not sell off that gun. That's an insane addition that PhD Flopper has. It makes it such a more valuable perk than what got kicked off, like double tap. The other perk they added is down here, which is Stamina. That one is good. I mean, it's one of those where if I've run out of Quick Revive and it's my last life, I'll go and get Stamina up instead of maybe like Mule Kick or something like that. It just lets you move and run faster, which is good, but really I don't think that outvalues any of the other 3 core perks that they had, and it definitely doesn't outvalue PhD Flopper. You can't do another Easter egg on solo until a little bit later in this video, so we're just going to be doing the 5 runs here. To do the song on this map, you just have to find teddy bears that have a sickle. The first one is on the upper railing in the spawn room. The second one is just just past Speed Cola next to these, I think they're called Lunar Landers, I think they're called. We'll get to that. And then there's another one next to the other Lunar Lander just outside of the map. Once you get those three, you get the song. To get to Pack-a-Punch on this map, it's a little bit different to Der, but it's very similar as well. You've got these like Lunar Landers or whatever they're called spread out around the map. All you have to do is go to the area, call the lander in, and then you get a free ride to spawn with it. And you just do that with the three of them. After that, you go upstairs to where the power switch is, and then you just hit a button that's like right next to it, and then you launch a rocket. After the rocket is launched, you just run out down this way, and just behind where the rocket was is a door that takes you to Pack-a-Punch. Making it to round 30 on Ascension is pretty doable. And the strategy for it is basically the same across the board, minus which weapons you're using. What you do is you just go to where this lander space is here, and you just like, it's just an open area. So you just run in a circle. You kind of do a little bit of a zigzag, as you can see. Mustang and Sally, you just shoot grenades at them, you shoot ray guns at them, or you just shoot a thunder gun at them. It's very simple to be able to say here. If you're locked in when you're playing this, like a lot of these good players are, but obviously, you know, I'm the best one, as the title says. The confidence in my voice as I say that. You could just stay alive doing this for God knows how long. I used to be an Ascension hater. I played it once, I think, and it was in black and white, and I hated it because, come on, dude, I was like 11 or 12, all right? It's only been through doing these runs that I've started playing Ascension, and I fell in love with this map. I really do like it. And now, of course, because there was a map that I really enjoyed and had a really good time with, there had to be a map that I was going to struggle with and really hate it. And that map just so happens to be Shangri-La. Shangri-La is one of those other maps where I think I maybe played it like once or twice originally and then went, this is too hard. Genuinely, even coming back to it, I think despite Nacht Der Untoten being difficult, Verrükt, given that everything is accessible to us here, every single perk in Black Ops is available to us on this map. Pack-a-Punch is available to us. We have arguably the best wonder weapon in the game. It's called the baby gun, and it just makes all the zombies these little tiny things that run at you, and all you need to do to kill them then is just run forward and you knock them over and you kill them all. Like, if you put that on a map like Ascension or Der, God only knows how long you're going to be going for. But there is a major problem with Shangri-La which makes it difficult. There is no open space on this map anywhere. You do not have enough space to be able to even do like, just like a little circle or anything like that. This is a very challenging map. Now, I did say that every Black Ops perk was on this map, which means that it's time to introduce the final perk, which is Deadshot Daiquiri. It is solely built for console players because it's literally just when you aim down sights, you immediately aim for the head. I don't necessarily think that that is really worth it, considering that, like, I don't know, there's a lot of other perks and you have a lot of other options. Like, honestly, something even like a double tap is better, I would think. Even Mule Kick, I would put Deadshot Daiquiri as the very last thing that I would buy. Unlike the last couple of maps, there isn't a designated round for specific zombies. Instead, there are two types of zombies that will just occasionally spawn in throughout the rounds. I think it might start on like round 5 onwards. I don't know the actual names for them. One's just called a Flamer, which is just like this molten fire guy. When you get too close to him, he'll explode and do some damage to you, even if you have PhD Flopper. And also there is just like a Screecher or something like that. It's a dude that just yells really loudly and it distorts your vision. Now, in saying that, there are monkeys still on this map, but just in a different way to how they are on Ascension. The monkeys on this map will come out when you kill a zombie and a power-up is dropped. The monkeys will run up to the power-up and will steal it, and it'll start rotating between the different power-ups that you can get. But with that, you can take advantage of it. An example of this is what happens with a lot of speedrunners, where as you're going along and you're getting into higher rounds, you end up running out of ammo. Let's say a zombie drops a double points, right? It doesn't really matter at round 20 if you're getting double points or not, because you're just trying to end the round. So if you're running low on ammo in that situation, what you'd do is you'd wait for the monkey to come, they'd pick up the power up, and then you just wait for it to cycle through to the max ammo, because then you can kill the monkey and a max ammo drops in its place, and then you can take that. It's a cool system in that way, and the monkeys are definitely way less annoying than what they were trying to take the perks in Ascension, which they just don't do in this map. So again, going for the 5 records here, to get the song on this map, you're trying to find the element 115 rocks, which is just in the lore. It's just rocks with like orange glowy bits in it. The first one is in Spawn, just behind like Quick quick revive to the top left. The second one is just before, I know it's not, we don't need to talk about it again. That's a bridge, all right? That's my drawing of a bridge. It's 2 a.m. Leave me alone. There's a rock near the bridge, and then the third one is all the way through here, which is underground. And as soon as you get into this room here, it's just like there's a little rock around there. Now, you won't always get the perks in the same spot on this map. The only one that stays consistent is Mule Kick and Quick Revive. So like Speed, Cola, and Jug can switch places, and all of these four will just switch in between as well. So you get to Pack-a-Punch, it's a little bit different on this map. So you need to turn the power on first, obviously. Then in this Quick Revive little hut area, it's not really a hut, there's just a couple of walls. There's a button that will push out. You need to press that button down. And then on one of these red icons, it's like a stone pressure plate that will rise out of the ground once the power has been turned on. What you need to do is you need to stand on that and push it all the way down. When you first spawn in, you can see the stairs that lead up to the Pack-a-Punch, but there's a few at the start that are just not up yet, they're missing. So by standing on the pressure plate, you're moving those steps up, so then you can run up to Pack-a-Punch for only a limited time, which is shown by these wheels that are slowly climbing up the sides. Once they get to the top, water flows down and pushes you out. I had a hard time getting to round 30 on this map. I think Shangri-La was the map that I spent the most amount of time on trying to get to round 30. And it's because of the lack of open space. There is nowhere on this map where you have visibility of your surroundings and you're really going to be able to do that well. Even with the people that are on the like higher end of that leaderboard in total, even they haven't found like the open place to go. What they usually do is in this room that's down here, they just do like little laps up and down in this kind of area, which I did try. I probably gave it a good like 2 or 3 hours trying to do that, and it just did not work for me. What I ended up doing was I stayed down this area just on the other side of the bridge, and I could kind of do again with that BB gun. I could do like these little circles here, trying to just group as many as I could together. But when it did get too overwhelming, I would run through this tunnel, through to this Mule Kick area, which is kind of like watery, and then come into this other room here, and then would just go kind of back and forth, getting a few zombies 2 or 3 times and leaving through this water pipe. It kicks you out behind the Quick Revive. And then I would do another 2 or 3 with the zombies that are coming out of that water pipe. Then go through here, this little like maze section to the other side where the perk machine is, turn around and would spray at the zombies that are catching up to me, and then do a BB gun shoot on the bridge and just repeat that. It seems very convoluted. That is what worked for me, and that is the only way that I was able to get to round 30. I could have kept trying to do this. Realistically, I could have kept trying to do that, and I could have probably done it, but it was just too much for me. I legitimately think that there is a level of skill in this game that you need to be able to pull that off, which I just don't have. But this ended up working for me, and I managed to get there. But Shangri-La is still, even now, after having to run this map so many times, that is still difficult for me to get even up to those higher 20s or anything like that. I think similarly to Ascension, this map grew on me as I kind of, you know, overcame the original challenge of it just being way too difficult and then becoming achievable. It's still a lot. It is still a very hard map. Now, so far I've been doing runs on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 because those are the consoles that were out when Black Ops came out. But in the middle of doing these runs, I went back and played the PS4 Spider-Man on my PS5, and that made me think something. Wasn't the Xbox backwards compatible way before PlayStation was? And if that's the case, would I be able to submit console records on a newer console to speedrun.com? And the answer is yes. So now all I had to do was find my Xbox One and I'd be able to get started on doing those speedruns. I wonder where that could possibly be. All of my consoles have ended up in weird places. I wonder if, like, I don't know, the oven? Nope. The microwave? Nope. Oh wait, I know where it will be. It'll be here with all the other consoles that I have right there. Look, I was gonna try and do another one where it's like, oh look, it's in this funny place, but I couldn't think of another funny place to hide it. Honestly, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it. This might be the most bullshit map in the game. Not because it's bad, not because there's anything particularly difficult about it, because it's boring! It's fucking boring! Is it still 2 a.m? Who knows? We got the green light again, back to back. I like that record. I haven't slept since the last video. Anyway, so this is Shi No Numa. This is the 3rd map that ever got made, so I mean, it kind of makes sense for why it's very bare bones. It actually doesn't have the power on this map. It's all like still somewhat like pre-included. I don't know why that's the case. I would guess maybe they were working on Riese and they were like, ah shit, DLC 2's coming up. What can we chuck together? That, I can't get that guy's intonation out of my head of the fucking pronouns. Fucking, I can't get that out of my head. Let's start over. Shi No Numa is just a basic map, alright? There's the perks on here, just the core perks. That's about it. There's a trap on here, which there was some glitch with the trap, I think, which let you get to like round 1,000. It was the first map they ever worked that out for. Thank God we are not trying to hit round 1,000. We're not even trying to hit round 30 on this map. It doesn't have Pack-a-Punch, so I just could not be bothered. And it's also like kind of similar to Shangri-La, where there's just not a whole heap to move. It looks like there's place to move, but a lot of that's like water, so you're moving slow. It's not great. Technically though, this is the first map to ever do the dog rounds. So yeah, we've got dog rounds on this one, so you get your max ammo every so often. The same as Riese, the dogs also do spawn like during the regular rounds as well as having the dedicated max ammo dog rounds, which is kind of cool. But yeah, going back to basics on this, we're just going for 3 records. We're going for the song, we're going for round 5, and we're going for round 15. Something to mention with this map as well, it would be nice to be able to refer to that as the quick revive hut, but these 4 perks randomly get assigned to different huts. When you open each of the doors, the perk machine will kind of rotate through and then pick whichever one goes there. To do the song run, you just want to go to the comms hut, and just behind where the perk machine is, there's just like a little black phone there. Hold down X 3 times. You'll hear a guy whisper, which was really disturbing. I'm really happy that I would have been watching House at the time that I was doing that speed run, and I didn't hear that whispering at like 11 PM in a house all by myself. That would have been awful. I'm not beating the schizophrenia allegations, if you couldn't tell from that ramble at the start. But that's the song done. To get to around 5 and 15 on this map, I just kind of go around here, which is near where that big, I think it's called the fly trap. It just like spins around and just flicks everyone off. So yeah, if you get into a bad spot, you can just crouch underneath that, turn it on, all the zombies will just get flown out. But you can just kind of in this little alleyway here, and you got a little bit of extra space, you can come down into there. You can do a little loop-de-loop. You can get that going till round 15. I can't imagine trying to do round 30 on this map. I think I had already decided that I wasn't doing round 30s by the time this came around. Outside of Nacht, this is probably the most straightforward map in the whole game that also gives you the perks and everything like that. So the next one that we're going to be looking at is a lot more complicated because it was the final map that got released for Black Ops, and it tied all of these together. And that map is called Moon. When I was a kid playing Black Ops, I think Moon quickly became my favorite map. I think it manages to strike that balance really well of once you're set up and you're in it, it is an easier map to just like keep going along with, but there is a lot of stuff along the way that does make it difficult. Something that is a good example of this is where you spawn down here in Area 51. You'll see that I got both Jug and Speed Cola here, but what actually happens is that every time you start up, they cycle between the two and only one of them will spawn. So let's say you booted up and Speed Cola was the first thing to spawn here. That means the next time that you teleport to Area 51, the Juggernog will be there instead. But when that sucks, when you spawn in and you get Jug first, when you teleport back, you don't have Jug. You've got Speed Cola there. So if you didn't manage to buy it at the start, which when I was playing as a kid was very difficult to do because I didn't get it yet, it was hard. This is another map that has all of the perks on it, and they are pretty well spaced out. Like, this isn't the best representation of it, surprise, surprise. It does end up basically forcing you to go to all of the areas on this map. After Area 1, you get teleported to this main room where Quick Revive is. You can use this teleporter later on to go back to Area 51 if you want to pack a punch or you want to get the other perk. Then you teleport back, you're back in the Quick Revive room. The problem though comes when the excavators come in. Look, I think there's 4 of them, but I've only seen 3. One of them will attack this dome here, which it doesn't really matter too much. The other 2, one will go for each of these tunnels, which links you from Quick Revive to the power room. The problem with that is, if both of these excavators are going and you teleport from Pack-a-Punch to Quick Revive, you can't go back there. You are stuck here for the rest of the game. Which sounds like it's game breaking, right? Only kind of. What you're able to pick up in this map is something called the hacker device. And so if an excavator is going where you don't necessarily want it to be going, you would take the hacker device, teleport to Pack-a-Punch, do whatever you want, come back into this Quick Revive room where you're then able to use the hacker on the specific console for that excavator, which turns it off. Meaning that if you are in a situation where both of these tunnels are cut off, you can basically tell them to go away and they'll back away for however many rounds. The only problem is the hacker takes up the same slot as something else that is very important on this map, which is the helmet. You're in outer space. How are you going to breathe? You need an astronaut helmet. So you need to be wearing that basically everywhere on this map except for the areas that are inside. Now there's no designated like max ammo round on this map, so you don't have dogs, you don't have anything like that. What you do have instead though is an astronaut that will just spawn. They'll spawn with like a gamer tag above it, so I'm guessing that, like, you know, when you're playing with multiplayer, it was supposed to like trick people. But what that astronaut will do is that it will come up to you, it'll grab you, and if you don't escape the grab in a certain amount of time, they'll headbutt you, teleport you to a different location, and take a random perk away from you. Which is the same as the monkeys on Ascension. It's fine if it's something like PhD flopper, but in this case, it's not fine if it's quick revive, because obviously you have a limited amount, and also it's a massive pain in the ass if you've just come back from Pack-a-Punch where Jug spawned, because now you're gonna have to travel there twice before you can get Jug again. So that's kind of the basics that we know now. Let's get into doing the run. To do the song on this map, you're looking for a teddy bear with an astronaut helmet. The first one is below spawn with quick revive is here. The second one, actually, stamina up should be. Yeah, it's in that stamina up room. And the last one is, I believe, in this outdoor area here where Mule Kick is. It's actually in the airlock that connects over to the power room. Jesus Christ, it's not like you've spent fucking literally hours of your life playing this map. After that, to get Pack-a-Punch, look, there's some just mad lads that manage to get Pack-a-Punch before they even leave. This is another one where I think there is a lot of skill involved that I just don't have. I am barely able to get enough points to be able to buy Jug before round one when in this area, right? There are some people that manage to get Pack-a-Punch before they even teleport back. I don't understand how they do it, because I can't do it. I can't do it. I did it a much more boring way, and that's just through playing the game. I would just try and get as many points as I can here, and then I would end up just going through the whole map until I could get to Pack-a-Punch again. Much longer way, and that's why all of my times on the actual leaderboard are nowhere close to the actual top. So it's a good thing that doesn't matter, and you just have a look at the console. Number one, baby. And so getting up to round 30 on this map, not that bad. I think it's literally like this and Ascension that I may have just like been playing more and more often. I think those are the two maps that I've gotten to the highest round on. All I would do is that I'd just keep restarting the game until Jug spawns here when we spawn in for the first time, and then eventually I'd just get enough points from just hoarding all the zombies and everything to get it. Usually the mystery box is either in this dome or in this outside area towards the end. Spam that till I get a ray gun. I think mainly speedrunners go to this dome area or this Mule Kick outside. Quite honestly, I just watched Syndicate a lot as a kid, and he would go to the Mule Kick area, so I think just the hours upon hours of grinding out that spot, that's just basically made that the only area that I will go to. The only annoying thing with that area is that because there's zero gravity, eventually after a while, if you just keep running, it will just like launch you a little bit. That kind of gets annoying. That kind of puts you in a couple of shit spots, but outside of that, not the worst. So after doing a few of the Xbox One runs, I was wondering, do you think they'd let me do any Xbox Series X runs? Yes they did. Turns out you can also do Series S runs too. They'll let you do Series S. I didn't have these consoles before this, but hey, if $1,000 is the price of being the best there ever was to do it, lock me up. Call of the Dead is another one of those maps that I absolutely loved when I used to play this game religiously. I can't put my finger on exactly what I loved about it so much. I think it was like one of those where all of the pieces were in front of me to be really good at this map. It was like it connected dots. I could see where they all were. I was just never really able to put them all together. We get all 8 perks on this map again, and one cool thing about this map is that it is actually very possible for you to be able to have all of the perks at once. And that's because of the boss zombie that's on this map, George. Yes, his name is George, and yes, he's a real person, George Romero. For context, the 4 characters that you play as are all actors that were doing a movie, and George is the director. George ended up becoming a zombie, and he's the boss zombie around this map. So he walks around just like kind of chill and just doesn't really do much, but he's always coming for you. As soon as he gets in proximity of you, or if you shoot at him and damage him, he will go into this rage and he'll start swinging around this like a camera light. I think it takes like a full ray gun to kill him, but once you do, he drops a perk as well as what should be usually a death machine drop, which you also get from random zombies to kill them. But on this map and this playthrough, there is a difference. If you complete the Easter egg for this map, from then on, George's drop will actually turn into a look, I don't know how to say it. I think it's just a Wonder Waffle, but all I've heard is Richtofen say it, so all I have in my hand is the Wunderwaffe. It's actually called the Wonder Waffle. I think I just call it the Wonder Waffle because like I'm dyslexic or some shit. And just imagine that there's an L in there. I don't know, man. So that's really cool. You basically get a free gun and also a very good gun at that for killing George, as well as getting the perks. The Easter egg is something that you can do solo on this map, and it's one of the runs that I went for. It turns out that you can do the moon Easter egg on its own. I learned that literally like just now. Oh well. So to complete the Easter egg, what you have to do is you have to go to a door that's just around this lighthouse. That's where the regular like zombie characters are, and you just have to help them out with a couple things. First, you have to find a fuse, put it next to the door. Then you have to go around to these little like power station things, and you need to hit the red lights with an explosive. I think it's the red lights. I don't really No. Basically, I just kind of hope for the best when I throw shit at it. Once all 4 of those red lights are off, then you can come back. Then what you need to do is you need to go to this power room, and this next step makes me just like, I don't know how people found this out. Somehow, some random player did all of those steps, which were easy enough to follow, and then went to where the power button is and walked up to a wheel, turned it to the right twice, then went to this other thing with 3 switches, moved the first one down once, and then moved the third one down 3 times. How do you even do that? How do you think that that's like, how much trial and error did you do to do that? I don't get it. How did you work that out? Anyway, after that, then a submarine will pop up here. It'll shoot a green light into the lighthouse. Then you need to go and get the wonder weapon for this map, the VR11, which turns zombies into humans. You need to shoot a zombie. They will then run to the base of this lighthouse and get into the green light. While they're in the green light, you need to kill them before it gets to the top, and then you get this item from the Easter egg. After that, you take that back to where the usual gang is. You give it to them through this suction machine, and then you get a knife the fuse that you put in, and then that teleports them away, and that's the Easter egg done. I think on average I take about 30 minutes to do that. Somehow people do it in like less than 15. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get how people worked this out. The dedication that people have to this game is fucking insane. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But look, that's the Easter egg. It's a lot. The only reason that it is worth it is because you do get that wonder weapon off of George when you kill him after that. Which I think, considering that that is like from that moment on, you get that in any game. You can boot it up like 5 years later and get it. I think that makes it very worth it. Of course, then after that, we're gonna do the song. Ah, shit. I don't think I remember where the song locations are. One of them is here. One is below a desk in this room, the same room where you get... Wait, hold on. That's completely wrong. There you go. The PhD room. And then there's another one, which is on a... It's sitting on a booth chair in here. That's how you get all 3 of them. You can do it relatively quickly. Like, I don't think... definitely wasn't getting like the fastest time or anything like that, but I was getting like pretty like decent times for it because you just gotta open those 2 doors. To get to Pack-a-Punch on Call of the Dead, it is a little bit different. So the Pack-a-Punch machine probably stays around, I want to say, for like 5 minutes at a time. Once you turn the power on this boat here, this is a lighthouse, by the way. This lighthouse, the light will just start searching around and spinning in circles until it eventually stops and looks at a location. What will happen is that wherever that light is facing, that's where the Pack-a-Punch machine will like emerge from. And then yeah, it stays there for probably like 5 or so minutes. So you go up and use it then, and then it pisses off. So the Pack-a-Punch isn't necessarily hard to get to. It can just like be a bit of a pain when like it might end up spawning here and you might not have been anywhere near it, or you might have gone all the way through here already, but then it spawns in here. Getting a fast Pack-a-Punch time is kind of just reliant on a little bit of luck. Considering that once you get the power on, it's kind of just like, you know, it can be anywhere. I'm guessing similar to Moon, that the people who actually do like try and get a really good time on it probably would just continually reset, hoping that the Pack-a-Punch is there the first time, but who knows. So getting to around 30 on this map isn't actually that bad. Because you got PhD Flopper, you can use your Mustang and Sally, you can use your ray gun, you're not going to take any damage from there, and you get a pretty good amount of space here as well to be able to run around, so it's not really that much of an issue. Like, it's not Ascension levels of space, but you get a pretty decent amount. What I do like about Call of the Dead, there's something about it, and I can't tell if it's just like nostalgia now for looking at it being like, that's cool, because that might have been like the most recent DLC when I started playing the game. There's something about it for me that, I mean, it's nostalgic for me to play this map now, but even at the time, I think it was just very different to anything that had kind of come before it. This was like, it might not be the most loved map of Black Ops, but I think that maybe aside from like Shangri-La or something like that, very unique and very accessible in that way. But now that we've done all the runs for this, we are finally at the map that started it all. It is, in my opinion, the perfect Call of Duty Zombies map, and it's what caused everyone to fall in love with zombies as soon as they put in the Black Ops disc. The next and last map for us today is Kino Der Toten. I feel like the start to some like rom-com indie movie, because the first thing that's coming to my head is, what can I say about Kino Der Toten? But it's true! What can I say about Kino Der Toten? It has gotta be just the most perfectly crafted map. Genuinely. Like, the fact that this was released with the base game, knowing that they were gonna be doing so much story for the zombies mode in Black Ops, they fucking knew what they were doing. They knew that they cooked with this shit. Firstly, the location is just so nice. I know I've been saying the map, but legitimately, the map, the scenery of it, the setting of it, it is just so good. A theater that is done done so well like this just looks amazing. It has such a good mix of somewhat open spaces like in Spawn, where if you wanted to challenge yourself, you can stay there for just as long as you want to. Then this almost balcony. This could have just been an open level, but instead they made it this kind of like, it's an alleyway without being an alleyway, what they've done here by making it so thin around. Then you come into this speed cola room, MP40 down the bottom. It's just, again, this just visually looks so nice, this area. Coming into this wardrobe here, then opening to the stage, a place that looks kind of small and a little bit cramped until you flick the power switch. It opens up and it's this grand reveal of the entirety of the theater that you have. And even on the other side of the map, coming into this room, there's not too much going on here, but then going into an alleyway, a complete change of scenery from everything that you've seen in here before. Usually if you're playing with two people, like, you know, if I'm playing multiplayer, I usually would have been playing with two people. One takes a stage, one takes the alley. That's usually how it would go because it just works so well. We got the dog rounds on Kino as well, so you've got max ammo, so you don't really have to be stressing about that. But also, if you were going to be running out of ammo a whole heap, you've got the M16 right on this stage here. Yes, I know that the M16 isn't what you want to be buying at the higher levels, but still, again, like, you know, not everyone is trying to go for a high level play. Most people are just kind of playing casually, and that's perfect for playing casually. The mystery box spawn locations aren't actually terrible. I think there's actually one in every space available. In this theater room, there's one on the actual stage, one on the theater too, so it's always not that far. And you get an indicator because you can't go outside. There's like this little wooden panel with a drawing of this that I'm now realizing I could have just looked at that panel and drawn this instead of doing it off of memory and making it look like that, but that's fine. Because this is early Call of Duty Zombies, there is only the 4 core perks. Again, mule kick, you know, you remember that one. It also helps that it has a really sick song on this map. I know that I haven't really spoken about the songs on any of the maps, and I think that that's just mainly because no song has been so directly tied to a map like the song 115 is to Kino Der Toten. After you get all the meteorites, and the first one being in the spawn room here, the second one being in the dressing room, the third one being in whatever the fuck that room is there, when you hear that opening riff come on, and then this massive drum fill that kicks in, there was no better feeling than getting onto this map, getting that song playing, and just letting them have it. To get to Pack-a-Punch on this map, what you need to do is you need to turn on the power. Where the power icon is on here, that's where a teleporter is. There was too cramped to be able to draw it, but there's a teleporter here that needs to be linked. So what you do is you go into the spawn room. Where you spawn, basically, there is just the teleporter pad. You stand on that, you link it, you go back into this room, you take the teleporter, and you then get teleported to like the projection room, which is where the Pack-a-Punch is. It gives you like a moment to breathe on the map as well. I know that when I used to play this, if you needed a break, if you needed to just like, if you were getting overwhelmed, you're about to like go down probably, you would just jump in the teleporter and off you go. Round 30 on Kino, because of the design, because what's given here, and more than likely as well, because of the sheer number of hours that I have put into this map. What I didn't draw, and what's like actually kind of important to the strategy, oh look, it kind of looks like a face now. You know what, just for shits and gigs. I fuck with that. Oh dude, I drew Schlatt. the stairs of the mutton chops. Nacht Der Toten. Really, all you need to do up here, this is just the most kind of like efficient way that I was able to do it. I think a lot of people just kind of run around in a big circle here. But what I do, which might be a little bit different, but I also think most people do it, I use most people twice there to cover all bases. If this is a little staircase, like you kind of stand up there like you're like giving a speech, so you just kind of like run up those steps, jump off, land here or land next to the stairs, do a big lap, and you just kind of loop that. That's all you have to do to get to round 30 on Kino. I think Kino is so beloved because it is so accessible. There's no like running back and forth to get to where you need to go. Somewhere like Call of the Dead, right? You could go on that whole map without ever going near Jug. You have to be aware that Jug is on that map, and that is a perk that you need to continue, that you need to be turning on the power, all of those things. On a map like Kino, it just feels like a natural progression. You know, you're gonna go through one of these two doors. Both of these routes lead you to the stage. It leads you to where the power is. That turns on, and what do you immediately see as soon as the curtain lifts or curtain parts? You see Jug. What do you see when you spawn in? You see Quick Revive. As you're exploring the map, either route, if you go the route that way, you see Speed Cola. If you go the route this way, you see Double Tap. It's just so well crafted in the way that you can hand this map to someone who has zero idea about zombies, and they will more than likely not necessarily get what everything is doing, but they will more than likely buy every perk, end up using the teleporter and getting getting to the Pack-a-Punch machine, knowing where the mystery box is because the little like icon shows you where it is, while giving an outline of how the map is. Kino Der Toten manages to be a tutorial while also being one of the best maps ever made for Call of Duty Zombies. I genuinely love this map, and it isn't just me. This is by far the most beloved map on Black Ops. And the fact that I was finally able to get to that round 30, and I was finally able to solidify myself as the best that there ever was to do it on every other map, and closing it out on Kino Der Toten, as stupid as it sounds, and I mean, like, I've been going for like almost an hour about this game, alright? Give me a second to be an idiot about it. It feels so full circle to be finishing off these speed runs on the map that started my love for this game. And speaking of ending off these speed runs, it's done. We've done every map on Black Ops Zombies. Let's have a look at the final tally. It's final tally time, baby. I've gone onto speedrun.com and by hand had to make a Excel spreadsheet because you can't just export data from that website. So I had to individually go through on the Black Ops 1 Zombies category, filtered by the console, and went through every single speed run. There's still a couple of categories unfilled, especially because we didn't even touch on it. On the website, they have like round 50, round 70, round 100, and I don't think I've ever made it to round 50, so there's no way I was gonna get that. As of the day before this comes out, the 27th of June, here are my current standings. Let's go from low to high. Starting with the Xbox 360, I have 5 #1 console 360 records. Next to the Xbox One, I have 90 world records on the Xbox One. Next to the PS3, the console that started it all, I have 20 PS3 world records. Then to these two, the two that were the most expensive to buy because they came out like 2 or 3 years ago and I didn't own them, has given me the best results, so I can't complain about that. On the Xbox Series S, I have 43 world records, and that means X is a bigger number. On the Xbox Series X, I have 44 world records. By the way, in case you haven't put it together yet, the Series X and S, there was one record on each. No one random. So you may be sitting there trying to piece all of this together. Some of you may be good at maths and you've already worked it out. Total. So the total pending world records that I have that haven't been approved because, I mean, there's a meme in the community. Like, I bet if I go to the Discord right now on my phone, yeah, how much time does it take to get verified in this server? Yeah, it usually takes anywhere between 3 to 7 days. There's a guy who's just made a video of just like people replying that. I think my runs are still like 4 or 5 days old, so they're not all yet approved. But pending, I have 24, and that's a very low number compared to that. The amount of approved records I have is 108. So the total amount of console world records that I have is 131. I remember planning out for this video, I'm like, it would be kind of funny if I could hit 115 because that's the zombie number. But I honestly thought, I was like, I'm gonna have to do like round 50s. I'm gonna have to like really try. So again, on that spreadsheet, by keeping track of how many I have, I've also invertedly kept track of everyone else's. This blows everyone else out of the fucking water, alright? I will do an honorable mentions of the top 3. The 3 closest runners to me that have the most amount of console world records on Black Ops 1 is an altar boy with 13. Third place is Savers Untitled with 11, and tied for third is Oscar Rodder and NSG. So again, not by in general records, by specifically console world records, I hold the most Black Ops Zombies console world records in the world. And you know, when someone holds a world record, you know, if Michael Phelps is a world record holder for swimming, you would say that he is the best in the world at swimming. So applying that same logic, I am the best console COD Zombies player. This is my reward for doing the video, for finishing the video. It's Mr. Beast Festivals. That's pretty good. You know what? We did it. So I can finally do this. Yeah! There's no way for me to change the speed, so it's just gonna be stuck like this. I know this seems very silly. I completely understand that. And this video is very silly, let's be honest here. I spent God knows how many hours, probably if we're talking honestly, if we're looking at like pure statistics, Like days. Not just like days where you wake up and go to sleep. Like 24-hour periods doing this video. Spending days doing this seems very odd. Especially when like you're going for world records on a technical. Yeah, it's mandatory dog has to be in the video. I think he was already in. I don't know. It's been a long time. If you have made it this far, one, I hope you learned a lot about zombies. I realized because I did a couple of these runs streaming. I realized that, yeah. It's very core knowledge for me how Black Ops Zombies works because I grew up on it, but there's a lot of people who just have zero idea. So I hope you learned a lot about the game. You've learned more than the basics probably. And secondly, if you are still watching, thank you very much. It's a stupid game, right? It's a stupid game from, at this point, 15 years ago. But this is the shit I grew up on, and this is genuinely, like, when I talk about how it's going to be a very big part of my life, it really did become a very big part of my life. I think I have, like, there's been friendships that I've made, like, through playing the game. To be able to make content around that, it's very shoehorned in, isn't it? Let's be honest, getting the world records. I'll be honest, I just thought that it was, like, funny that I could get technical world records. That's what I thought. I definitely think console world records sounds a lot better than technical world records. But being real, I'm not the best zombies player. I think I made that very clear. There are people that are so much better than I am at it. And those are the people that do genuinely have number ones and, you know, aren't on some technicality having number ones. I will say though, I did get some accidental third and fourth places, which was kind of cool to like submit a run and to see that it's actually gone like higher than I thought it would. So that's kind of cool. I did like that. Genuinely though, thank you very much for watching if you're still here at this point, which you must be because otherwise who the fuck am I saying that to, right? I genuinely think that this video is just going to do nothing. I think that it is not going to beat, well, like, what did I do last? It's not going to beat answering Google's most searched questions, but I think that this is a video that, you know, I love this game, clearly. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to dedicate days of my life to playing it and doing this. So yeah, I just, you know, this one's for me. It's the same as the drunk cookings that I say. This one's for me. But if it's for you as well and you made it, thank you. I really do appreciate it. I keep trying to think of some grander thing to end on, but I think we already got that with the tally, with the 131 world records. This isn't going anywhere. If I just sit here long enough, I'm just gonna keep speaking. So I'm gonna cut it off here. Genuinely, thank you so much for watching this video. If you finish this video and go on and you want to play COD Zombies now, please leave a comment or please write that in the Discord server. There was nothing that made me smile more than when I was playing these games on stream and people would come into chat and be like, damn, I want to play this now. This seems cool, I want to play this, or damn, I haven't played this in forever, I want to play this. That's really cool to me. A game that I really care about and that I really enjoy. Someone watching my shit then wants to play that game the same way that, you know, I used to watch like Syndicate play the game, and that's what made me want to play it. To be able to be like that jumping off point for somebody else is really cool, which, yeah. So if you do have that, please let me know. That'd be great. I will save you a little bit of money though. Buy Black Ops 3 when it's on sale and then buy Zombies Chronicles. You get basically all of these maps. You get it all remastered on Black Ops 3. Anyway, I'm gonna go now because I've got to edit the rest of this video. And I haven't slept in a while. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope that maybe you decide that you want to try out this game too. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Have a good one. I'll see you later.